First and foremost, joint venture partnerships. That is the type of partnership that we actually formed with our partner in South Africa, right? The business that I co-own in the US with people, and we partner with our partner in South Africa that I just told you all about on the tourism side of things. We formed a joint venture partnership. So basically, what this means is two businesses come together and they say, hey, you've got this. I've got that. Let's come together and make this thing happen. So the way that we actually structured that partnership is, hey, we on this side, we're going to leverage our audience and we're going to bring them over to you. We'll make sure that we capture payments. We'll make sure that we do all the things. And then on your side, you will manage what happens once they get to the country. Once they land in South Africa, you're going to manage all aspects of that, right? So that was the joint venture partnership that we formed with that particular partner on the ground. Venture capital. So venture capital obviously is when you invest money in exchange for some ownership in this particular company. And so this one can admittedly get a little bit more complicated just because now we're talking about equity shares. So yes, you will at some point likely probably want to get attorneys involved. You may need to talk about some tax stuff. So again, admittedly, this one could be a bit more complicated, but venture capital is another way to invest or do business on the continent. Affiliate partnerships. I think this one is extremely underrated, terribly underrated, actually. So, an affiliate partnership just means, hey, you've got this product or service. I've got people that trust me, they trust my word. I'm going to pitch your product or service on your behalf. For every conversion that happens, I get a percentage of the sale. That's what affiliate partnerships are essentially. You all, this is the easiest way to do business, not only on the continent, but just in general. This is a very simple way to do business. All of us have some level of influence. Now, I usually ask people, do you consider yourself to be an influencer? Most people say no to that, but I strongly disagree. All of us have some sort of influence, whether it's an influence amongst just family, whether it's influence just amongst our friends, whether it's influence at our workplace, whether it's influence online. We all have some level of influence. So please do not underestimate the power of your word. If there is a product or service that you know is a good fit for people in your community, whatever community that may be, you can literally make money just off of referring basically people. So affiliate slash referrals are kind of the same, but I'll kind of differentiate the difference in just a moment. Loans. So no equity, but this is you literally loaning money to someone so that they can do business. Okay. And that is a great way that, as I mentioned early on, when I went over all of the different industries, remember I specifically brought up financial services. And so this is a great way for you to come in and provide that particular service. This is an underutilized opportunity. The reason why I say that is because loans, generally speaking, on the continent, and again, I will yield to Carlson to kind of affirm or deny this, but typically speaking, it's not a big thing on the continent. Transactions are usually happening in cash, not necessarily with, borrow or with debt. Okay, so it's a new thing, but it's an emerging industry. It is something that has quite a bit of opportunity. I personally know people that do peer-to-peer lending, specifically in Uganda, and they are making a killing, 60% interest rates, which is, of course, for those of us in the West, is insane. But because this is really not a thing, it hasn't been a thing. It's an emerging opportunity or product, if you will, or service. It's a very lucrative thing. Sponsorships. Now, I know from the onset, it sounds like, okay, sponsorships, like, okay, why would I give money to something to like sponsor something? But you all, the sponsorships are a great way to get in front of the people that you may want to do business with again. And so, and when we're thinking about this, right, let me just go back. When we think about investing in Africa, this is like not just investing solely as an investor, for example, but you may just want to do business. You may want to own a business on the continent. You may want to partner with people that have businesses on the continent. There are many different ways that you can do an investment on the continent. So when I specifically speak about sponsorships, perhaps you are a business owner and you want to get in front of a specific audience. there are opportunities for you to invest in really good events. In fact, I met the gentlemen that are on this call who you will hear from shortly. I met them at a phenomenal event that they actually, if I'm not mistaken, invested in this event as a sponsor, as a co-sponsor, and that room was filled with heavy hitters. There were ambassadors from like 3 or 4 different countries. There were all types of very influential people in that room. Okay. So this is a really, really good opportunity. If you have a business and you're trying to get in front of a specific audience, sponsorships is a great way to invest. Social capital. So social capital is what I was referring to earlier when I mentioned that affiliate partnerships and referrals are kind of similar, but not really, kind of, sort of. So affiliate partnerships can be a lot more hands-off, meaning you share a link, and then when that person converts, then you just get your money, right? You're able to kind of easily track it. When it comes to referrals, it's a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more of a, hey, let me do this email introduction, or let me like quite literally call someone on the phone so that you can speak with them. And that's what I mean by social capital, right? The people that are within your network, the people that trust you, the people that want to hear what you have to say, and they will move according to what you share with them. So that's what I mean by social capital. You can, say that that's basically a referral. Again, affiliate partnerships and referrals, social capital are all kind of similar, but there are just some small nuances. Wholesaling. So if you own a store, whether it's an e-commerce store, or even a brick and mortar, you may actually consider wholesaling products from the continent. That is a way to invest in the continent. You can purchase bulk orders from the continent, and then you can sell those products, obviously, at a markup in your establishment. Why does this work well? Because on one hand, remember, we just went over those numbers, right? And I showed you how the math is definitely mathing. So on one hand, you're getting the advantage of being able to buy something with the power of your USD. If you're earning your money in USD, you're able to buy these products and have them shipped over to wherever your store is. That's one advantage, right? That you have this buying power with the USD. But also, you're able to mark up in your store because you can say, hey, this was imported from South Africa. This was imported from Rwanda. This was imported from Uganda, so on and so forth. So it's actually a good marketing strategy on your part as a business owner because you're importing these foreign products that you're able to then sell to your audience at a markup. Now, buying shares, the event that I spoke of earlier where I met the gentlemen who are here on the call, who you'll hear from shortly, was held at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So obviously, that is another way for you to invest in businesses on the continent, is to just invest in the stocks, buy some shares in companies that are publicly traded in those countries. And then last but not least, and again, I will say that this one could be slightly complicated, but acquiring a business on the continent, right? So with this one, again, admittedly, this one could be a bit more complicated. You will need to get an attorney locally to help you kind of broker that deal. But you can acquire an African-based business and then use that business to either import extra or export, import in and out of your own business in your home country, or you could just use that business to keep it going, and you're just going to pump some additional capital in it as the owner and scale that business, right? So these are ways to invest in businesses and opportunities on the continent.